As I speak here before health professionals, you all know it's important before you treat a patient to know the medical history. When patients appear before you, the first thing, once you find out how they are feeling and what is troubling them, you seek to know what is their medical history, because that informs you on the plan for treatment, on how to deal with the patient. And there is no way you can treat a patient without understanding the medical history of that patient. And that is why we must keep reminding the people of Kenya where President William Ruto found the economy of this country. When I spoke here on 13th of September last year, I said we found empty coffers. I repeat, we found empty coffers, and that is the truth. And no amount of denial will change that fact. Using medical parlance that you understand better, we found the Kenyan economy in ICU. The patient called the Kenyan economy was on life-supporting machines. The president, as a chief surgeon in the theater of the economic recovery, has struggled in the first 6 months and gotten the patient from ICU to HDU. In the next 8 months, the president struggled and got the patient called the Kenyan economy from HDU into the ward. The patient now is in the ward and is showing good signs of recovery. All the organs are operating. All the organs are working. The patient is showing signs of improvement. The patient has put on weight and is responding well to treatment. And in the next several months, the patient will leave hospital, will be discharged to go home and be attending clinic once in a month. That is the truth. The president has worked very hard. He inherited a 9.6 trillion public debt. All the money that we collect, 70% of that amount goes to pay public debt. President William Ruto did not acquire those debts. He has found them, and they have to be paid because they are debts that belong to the Republic of Kenya. We found a demoralized public service. The president has worked hard. The public service is now having good morale and is ready to work. I want to say, because it's important that we do so, even in that space, there are several gains that the government led by President William Ruto has achieved. One of them, and most critical, is the Afya Nyumbani program, where 100,000 health promoters have been enlisted and given equipment, and they are getting a stipend to encourage them to serve the people at level 1 intervention, because primary health care is critical in our plan to achieve universal health coverage. Again, the president has embarked on subsidizing production as opposed to subsidizing consumption because it's not sustainable. Through that program, the president and the government have brought the price of fertilizer from 7,000 shillings per 550 kg bag to 2,500. And as a result, we have a bumper harvest, and we have now attained food security. And we have brought down the cost of unga. We found it at 230 shillings per 2 kg to between now 130 shillings to 150. And Kenyans are now able to afford unga. Again, when we came in, we found that our mothers and fathers over 70 years who were benefiting from the cash transfer program had not been paid for 8 months. All the arrears for the elderly have been cleared, and as we speak today, our elderly, the senior citizens of this country, are paid before the 28th of every month. Again, the government has streamlined the operations at KEMSA. And as we speak today, medical supplies are available to the counties. And there is no county who can claim that they have no medical supplies. Issues of corruption have been dealt with, and services and the systems have been streamlined to serve the people of Kenya better. We also want to take pride in the housing program. Through this housing program, 125,000 young men and women have gotten employment, and they are today able to fend for their families. And as we proceed in matters education, when we came in, we found parents among you here, the students who are complaining that the CBC program had been implemented without adequate public participation. The president set up the Presidential Working Party on educational reforms that went around the country and collected views from the people of Kenya, from all stakeholders. And as a result, the CBC now has been aligned with the wishes and aspirations of the people of Kenya. Again, for the first time in the history of this country, the Kenya Kwanza government under President William Ruto has employed in a single year 56,000 teachers to match the teacher-pupil ratio in our republic. So, tumefanya mambo kadhaa ambayo inaonekana na itaendelea. And as I've told you, this patient is going home. Na kwa hivyo tutaendelea. We welcome criticism that is constructive, but we want those who are criticizing also to be truthful and tell the people of Kenya where the president found the state of the Kenyan economy. Na kwa hivyo mimi niseme ya kwamba kazi inaendelea na mambo itakuwa shwari na mabadiliko ya kiuchumi inaendelea na hivi karibuni Wakenya watafurahia. Wale walikuwa wanapiga kelele mambo ya bei ya unga, tuliipata ikiwa shilingi 230. Saa hii imeteremuka, hawaongei, wamenyamaza. Wanasema ya mafuta iko juu. Saa ile walikuwa wanaongea ya unga. Wacha waseme ya mafuta iko juu, lakini waongeze waseme ya unga imeteremuka. That will be an honest conversation. Na bei ya mafuta is not a Kenyan problem. It's a worldwide challenge. The cost of fuel is high everywhere in the world. It's not a problem that is peculiar to this country. It's a global challenge that every country is trying to cope with. But for the local solutions that we are trying to deal with, we have made substantial progress na tutaendelea.